Hello friends, I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things with you are? Hope you had a good weekend. I hope that storms didn't affect you too much. Ended up being not too bad here, and I had the children, so we had a good time. I've hit that wall again. I've hit the wall that I feel like we just talked about last week, where projects tend to grow in scope to the point that they become overwhelming. I've hit that wall with the D&D game that I'm supposed to be running in 3 weeks. I've got 3 weeks to finish this campaign, or this, it's not even a campaign, I've got 3 weeks to finish like a one-off session. And I can't. I don't know how. That's the problem. And it's not for lack of trying. But the thing is, I've been trying the wrong way. I mean, I have notes. I have pages of notes about this adventure. I have maps. I've drawn, dungeon maps. I've drawn cave maps. I've taken that map and I've blown it up to full size and printed it so that we can move miniatures around on here. I've been reading other pre-published adventures, lots of them. These are the two that I have in print, but I have lots of them in PDF form. I've been studying the makeup of, one-off adventures, 3-hour adventures. I have props that were 3D printed for me that are just the MacGuffin of this particular story. The problem is with the story. And when I talked about wanting to write a book 2 years ago, this book is still going. I'm still working on it, right? I've not written any sentences. There's maybe 2 paragraphs of work that I've done on this book, but the idea for this book continues to build in my head, and it continues to build in my notebooks. I continue to write about it. I just haven't started the writing process. And when I talked about it then, I talked about understanding the need for character development, understanding arcs, understanding motivations, understanding conflict and resolution and status quo and all this other stuff. And somebody made the comment of, you know enough to be dangerous, or you know too much, right? I know too much of how it's supposed to work. And so instead of just making what I want to make, I'm trying to make something that fits the quote correct formula. And that's the problem that I have with this stupid little adventure. So in this little adventure, the players are going to start in a tavern. They're going to have to escape through the sewers. They're going to have to get out of the city and go to a hamlet, and they're going to try to find somebody in this hamlet who's not there. And that person's going to leave them something, and they're going to have to figure out where that leads them, and then they're going to have to go explore that place looking for the piece, like looking for the MacGuffin. This is the whole point, is they've got to get this thing and they have to get it back. And they have to do it in a certain time frame or else it doesn't work, right? That's the story. That's the quote story. And just as I just said it, seems fine, right? But in my head, as a quote writer or an aspiring writer, I think, well, wait. They're in this tavern. Why do they have to sneak through the sewers? Well, the reason that they have to go get this thing is because the tavern is under siege currently. There's a faction that is working against them. And that faction is currently trying to break into the tavern, but there's some wizards there maintaining some wards, and the only way they can get out of the city right now is through these sewers. So they have to go through these sewers, which obviously it's a dungeon. They're going to have to do some fighting, they're going to have to find some keys or unlock some traps or whatever to get out of this dungeon. All right, fine. So the point is, the guy who brought them there, the person who kind of pulled this group together said, I need you to go to this village and find this person and she'll give you the thing. So go. You got to go. And they go, right? They get there, she's not there. She's had to leave for whatever reason, but she's left some clues behind to where the thing is. And then they have to go there, and then they have to find out that, all right, so, okay, well, why? Why does she have the thing and not the guy who's sending them on the thing? Why did she have to leave? Why did she leave this thing someplace else? Why are the people that are now in possession of the thing there? Like, I want to explain this story, but I don't know how. I get caught up in the details of the motivations. Well, what is the motivation of the person attacking the end? Who gives a shit, right? Like, this is D&D. I'm not writing a novel here. I don't have to have characters with robust backgrounds. Their background is they're a crazy cult. They're trying to raise a god or something. Why can't the players just abandon the quest? I guess they could. They could just be like, nah, we're not going to do that later, and just walk out the front door. They can't walk out the front door. They'd still have to go through the sewers at least. You know, so I'm getting stuck in all those little details, and as I say it out loud, it makes a whole lot of sense what I've set up. It makes the whole adventure makes sense to me, but the point that I'm having is it's really hard to come up with the characters that fill out that space and what they know and why they know it, so that when the players ask me questions, I have the answers. Oh, well, such and such did this and such did this. This is where they're headed. This is what's going on. No big deal. And I'm getting stuck on all of that. And so to avoid working on the actual, like, you know, the dialogue, the actual elements of the story, the characters that exist in the town that I've created, I've been working on drawing maps and making full-size replicas and props and whatever else, because I don't know how to continue. I don't know how to write this scenario. And it's a bit frustrating. I know it's a shortcoming of myself that I have to figure out how to overcome, and it's been bothering me a lot lately. I think that it's been bothering me a lot lately because of things like the birdhouse, which is sitting over there. It's still not done. It's glued together. It just needs kind of a few last little details and some finish put on it. Or this, you know, clock project that's been sitting back here for a year that needs to be finished. These are things that are quite honestly not difficult, but I've made them more difficult in my head than they need to be. You know, I've made this thing way more difficult. I don't need to know all of these details about all of these characters and all their motivations and their stories just to run a 3-hour D&D adventure. This is just a 3-hour D&D adventure. The goal of the character is to get the object. That's their goal. They don't need to have a reason. They don't need to have a backstory about you know, childhood abuse, or you know, being a you know, indentured servant to a wizard in a tower for 40 years and now they want to overthrow him, or that doesn't. Who cares? Nobody cares, right? It's just a stupid adventure. But I'm stuck in my own head on it, and I'm having trouble with it. And I got 3 weeks. 3 weeks to get it done. So wish me luck on that. And if you want to help, let me know. Maybe we can do some co-writing on it. I've already drawn all the maps. I have the whole scenario kind of planned out. I just need to figure out, you know, the actual writing part. That's where I'm at. That's what I've been doing. What have you been up to? Let me know something that you're working on currently that is giving you problems. Put that in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking and commenting and subscribing and being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really, really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is chimera. It is a noun meaning an object, place, event, or combination of things so strange, odd, and improbable that it logically should not exist in the real world, and yet it does. What a chimera, then, is humankind. What a novelty. What a monster. What a chaos. Blaise Pascal, a French philosopher. Chimera. Chimera.